as you see in the title, the three main guns that you needed in the Wild Wild West. And what I think is cool about this is it hasn't really changed a lot from what is important today. Like if I was to give you the three main guns that every citizen needs today, it's not much different from this setup right here. Okay, so what we have is we have the shotgun, pistol, and rifle. And to be a little bit more detailed, you have double barrel shotgun, 2 triggers, 6-shot revolver, and a high capacity rifle. So that's the thing. This was the AR-15 of its day. Okay. They call the gun that won the West. Now this is a newer version, of course. This isn't your actual clone of what they used in the Wild West, but it is a Henry lever action rifle. And so this was very popular, very popular. And, you know, this particular shotgun is a 20 gauge and good for a variety of things. But your shotgun not only is home defense, is it used for home defense or whatever, but it's also hunting. You know, there's a lot of birds in the world. So, you know, back in the day when you had to you hunt what you eat or you don't eat, right? This is a great gun for that, you know, because it gets you some birds. But the beautiful thing about shotguns is I can use this and I can put some bird shot in here and I can get some birds. I can get some grouse, some quail, whatever. Or I can throw some slugs in here and I can drop pretty much anything in North America. Okay, especially with 2 shots. There's nothing standing up after 2 slugs from this. You got some slugs right here. You know, so and that's a 20 gauge. You know, a lot of people had 12 gauge. Some people had 10 gauge. You know, and the gauges they differ, but 20 gauge is great. I prefer 12 gauge today, but back then 12, 20, it all works. You know, again, you got 2 triggers, so you can fire both barrels at the same time. It's a lot of power, right? So you have your hunting, right? Deer, bird, deer, bear, you name it. This will take care of it. Okay. And that's why this is so important. You can't really take a lot of birds with these two. That's why this is important. And with a bear, can this kill a bear? Sure. Is that what you want to risk your life trying to hunt down a bear or any large game? No, not with either of these. So that's why back then the shotgun was dire. Of course, you need to have a weapon on you at all times, self-defense. So everywhere you go. Now, me personally, I do this today, so I can tell you for sure I'd be doing it back then, is keeping my pistol on me at all times. My pistol would be on my hip as I'm doing work around the ranch. No matter what I'm doing, that pistol's going to stay on me. And that's how it is today. For me, my pistol stays on me at all times. And that's what that's going to represent. That's what that's going to be for you. That's the you know, the one that keeps the family safe no matter where you're at, right? And then your high capacity rifle. Now there's many other rifles you could have had back then, but this was the AR-15 of its time. This was the high capacity rifle. And so getting yourself a good lever action rifle means that you're gonna, you know, outlast the majority of people. If they don't have a lever action, you have superior firepower over them, and they're gonna run out in 5 rounds, and you know you're still gonna be shooting, you know, 11, 12, maybe 15 rounds later, depending on what caliber you have. This lever action right here specifically holds 10 .357 Magnums, 11 .38 Specials, and that's another thing. Back then, what was really popular, and that's what I have here, is my pistol matches my rifle. Right, so this is a .357 Magnum. This is a .357 Magnum, which of course both will also shoot .38 Special. So that was the thing back then, is making sure that your pistol and your rifle calibers matched, and that's a lot less expensive, and it just helps out a lot. So also, this can also be used for whitetail all day long. Don't get it twisted. This can be used for medium game, and especially creatures like coyotes. And, you know, you get coyotes and you get pests and things like that that are a little further out there than what, you know, typically you want to use a shotgun for. This is close work, and it's damaging close up. But this right here is for your long distance, longer distance. You know, back then, and if you got some coyotes or wolves or whatever the heck that's, you know, 100 yards out and is being a pest to your livestock or whatever the case, you need you a good rifle that can reach out and touch them. Now you can argue that, oh well, there's better rifles for longer distance, sure, but as far as we're sticking to just 3 guns. If you could only have 3 in the Wild West, the 3 main guns you needed back then, this is going to tower above all other rifles back then. There's no question. There's no question. That's just like the AR today. People can argue all day the AK instead, or, you know, we're not going to go down that route. Really, any high capacity rifle that, you know, takes a decent cartridge that can take game and man, right? At the end of the day. But there's a huge plus to having this back then because they were everywhere. So parts, you know, to fix the gun, and, you know, parts were swappable. If you ever seen the Good, Bad, and the Ugly, these guns were so normal that a lot of the parts were swappable, you know, and people really knew their stuff back then. Not saying people don't today. I sure do, as far as, you know, mechanics of the firearms and working on them and things like that. But back then you really had to, you know, everything was hands-on back then. There were no grocery stores, or, you know what I mean? So you had to take care of yourself and your own things. So having a lever action back then made sense, period. And having the most common caliber, right? And matching it with your pistol. That's why all that was super important. So this is for whitetail, and shit hits the fan. Like, all hell breaks loose. That's the lever action, buddy. All hell breaks loose. Same as the AR-15 today. Shit hits the fan. That's what you want. Also home defense, right? Home defense, you can use this instead of this back then, right? You got more rounds. This is much more damaging for sure. But how many people are you up against, right? Is it 5 guys, 5 cowboys coming in on you? Or is it just 1 or 2? You don't know. So this is also good for home protection. Just like the AR-15 today. Your pistol, that's what stays with you at all times, 24/7, 365. No matter where you go, this is your baby. So that's what you're going to be more familiar with than anything. You better be good with this. And then your shotgun, from birds to big game, and even home protection or property protection. But depending on the situation, for the property protection and whatnot, you know, you're going to choose between these two. But you just know your situation. You know what you're up against, and you make that choice quick. Right? And today, it would look something like this. This is a kind of like a basic breakdown. And what I mean by that is, I'm not saying specifically a Mossberg, right? I'm not saying specifically this brand and specifically this brand. It's not what it's about. It's get yourself a good shotgun. I prefer pump. If you want semi-automatic, go that route, right? But get yourself a good shotgun. Make sure anything you get's reliable, of course. That's why I go pump personally. You can shoot anything, period, point blank. I train with this. I don't short stroke. I have no problems with that, period. And that's what she said. So boom, 12 gauge, your handgun that stays with you 24/7, 365, and your shit hits the fan rifle, right? That's what it looks like today. And it's the same principles is what I'm saying, right? The same principles. Shit hits the fan, property. This can reach out and take down any kind of threat, cougar, whatever the heck, 200 yards out, whatever, doesn't matter. Make sure today you got to make sure you absolutely have some scope on there. Red dots are great, but if you can only have 3, you need scope. Why do you need scope? Not just because everything's going to be far or something like that. No, because of the fact that you need to identify things at a longer range. Today, that's very important. So you want to put the scope on your shotgun, be my guest, but you need glass, okay? So I'm even, you know, a proponent for, you know, get you a scope and then a red dot on the side, whatever floats your boat, but scope is important. But the point is, and do you need a red dot on your pistol? No, I just have one. It helps in many situations. It doesn't hurt in other situations, right? So it doesn't hurt. It can only help in certain situations. The only way you could say it could hurt is the fact that it adds weight to the gun. Yeah, there's that. Can the glass break? Sure, but up close, I'm point shooting. Okay, inside of 5 yards, I'm point shooting. You can't get away from me. I promise you that. Anyway, that's a different video, different subject, different time. But you know, if anarchy kicked off right now, if it all went down, look, I can hunt with this. I can hunt deer with this. Give me some slugs, anything within 100 yards. And that's the good thing about where I live in Washington State. Most shots are within 200 yards. Iraq veteran 8888 made a video proving that your shotgun is fairly accurate out to 200 yards and definitely kills out that at that range. So from bird to home protection to big game, this is going to take care of that for me. My 24/7 365 take care of my family. This is 10 millimeter caliber, doesn't matter as much. And then shit hits the fan, also home protection, property protection, and all hell breaks loose. The same situation, right? No different than the Wild West. So there we go. Appreciate you watching this video. What's your ideas? What do you think? As far as the Wild West, back in the Wild West, the 3 main guns, stick with the 3. 5 is a different subject. 2 is a different subject. We're sticking with 3. And then today, what are the 3 main guns any gun owner should have? If you could only have 3, what would they be? Would a bolt action be in place instead of something else? Let me hear your opinions. Much love. Whammy out.